Hi guys, welcome back to the Guitar Spa, where we bring you all the beautiful guitars reviewed just for you. And I know everybody is in a lot of us are just locked out at home in isolation, and I think amidst of all these changes, I think it's time for us to just take out the guitar from underneath our bed, from the closet, from the storeroom, and dust it off, change the strings, and start playing it. Because I think a lot of times we complain that I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. And now, in the time of isolation, in the time where you're stuck in your homes, in your rooms with your family, it's the best time to take stock of what you have within the music, the songs that you want to write, and maybe even write some songs out of this tough times. Because it's in tough times we begin to reflect on what we sometimes take for granted. I think this is very important in this season that we're in. So I'm going to do this review, a D28. I know a couple of weeks ago I did one D28, but that was just a stock saddle and pins and stuff like that. Now this D28 just arrived last week. There was a founders sale at City Music in Singapore, and the Martins were at a low special prices, and one of the owner just bought this because he asked me which Martin guitar should I buy. When you think Martin, you think about a D28, not a HD28, not a D41, not a D42, a D28. And what I like about the new D28, let me just run through is, let's look at the headstock. You have the bottle bean tuners on this, the volute on this, 1 3/4 nut with bone nut, bone saddle, and plastic pins. But I've upgraded the saddle to the fossilized mammoth ivory saddle. And you have the Seeker screw stop on this, and the Seeker screw stop right now, it has an edge toner, and even the pickguard is a beautiful pickguard that it upgraded pickguard from the normal thin kind of pickguard, okay, the Delmar style. And one thing about the bracing pattern is unscalloped. I like the unscalloped braces, especially for Asia. Let me explain why. Because many times all the Martin guitars are strung with mediums, and in mediums, especially with high humidity in Asia, they suffer extremely with a lot of belling. So if you have a scallop bracing, though the tonal aspect is really positive side, negative side is structurally this guitar over time will need a neck reset. That's what I feel if you don't keep it in the correct condition. And also because once you scallop the braces on very thin tops and stuff like that, it's very responsive, yet that's where the belling comes in, and then you have a lot of issues, okay. But for this model, what the Martin does is, the previous model, it's not forward shift, it's about 2 inches from the sound hole, I think 1.5 2 inches from sound hole. Right now they move this X brace, it's forward shift. I mean, there's an X brace here, they move it very close to the sound hole, and then because of that, it frees up this space, this real estate here underneath here, real estate I call it, and it gives you a little bit more responsive. It's just like this new model is just like having surround sound that is available. So when you play it, you can feel that, hey, it is more airy, and also the other thing is because it's non-scallop on the X brace as well as the two-tone bars. This guitar will last a lifetime. So over a period of 2 3 4 5 10 15 20, in 10-20 years time, when you play this guitar, it's going to be a different D28. Mark my words right now. If you right now, in 20 years later, it's 2040, and you're watching this video, know that, okay, you try a guitar because you've watched this guitar, this video, and then you try a guitar and you say thank you, Jarvis. I don't know, I'll still be alive or not. Okay, that's important. And the weight of this guitar is about 2 kilograms, 2.05, fairly very lightweight guitar. Right now, a lot of guitars are, even a lot of the small power guitars or treble size guitars, about 1.8 kilograms, 1.9 kilograms. So this, for a full size guitar at 205, is very light, extremely light. You get ebony bridge, ebony fretboard, The pinholes are not slotted. I personally slotted these pinholes right now with a tungsten carbide burr, using tungsten carbide, so that it gives you a better break angle, and also so that the pins can sit a little bit tighter, and the ball ends can tuck in the bridge plate to allow the vibration, because as I said before, this the bridge area acts like an air pump. It pumps, if it vibrates a little more, it pumps the tone into and out. Okay, so it pumps out air, or pump the tone goes in, and it really reflects out. And if the backs are responsive also, it will reflect back the tone, and the back and sides color the tone. 1 3/4 neck, you have the 4mm pearl markers on this guitar. This guitar right now is strung with 1254 authentic, the treated strings at it. So let's listen to how it sounds, because I personally I have a liking for this. If I have the money, I'll buy this, but I already have a couple of lovely Martins, the 40 series and above, which I like because they look fancy. Okay, let's listen to how it sounds. It is all available through CD Music. Incidentally, you know that all the Martins guitars are plaqued in the Martin factory. That means they use a CNC, and they re-plaque the fretboard and even the bridge nut. Okay, so this is something that I personally spoke to Chris Martin when he was in Singapore, the CEO of Martin Guitars. When he was in Singapore, I spoke to him. In fact, I bumped to him and said, "Hey Chris, is that you?" And he said, "Yes, Jarvis." No, I just said, "I'm Jarvis." And he said, "Yes, Jarvis." Something on Martin, if you play a Taylor or a modern sound guitar and a Martin, you play two just for a minute, you will gravitate towards a brighter sounding guitar. Okay, that's clear. I mean, people have done the experiment. You play a Martin and play a Taylor, you will probably pick a Taylor. But if you were to play the both guitars for half an hour, you will pick the Martin. The reason is because very bright sounding modern guitars, after some time your ears get a little bit tired. You know, it's like a nagging woman sometimes. okay that's just a joke. Okay, sorry ladies, it's not a nagging woman. Your ears just get tired, you know, sometimes. I'm not saying Taylors are not guitar. I love Taylors, I love Martins, but Martin, that's why you see a lot of people, they have the Martins, Taylors and Gibsons, stuff like that. They try everything, all the modern guitars, good old things like, and they still come back to a Martin or a Gibson. Think about that. Look at all the artists. They may play certain guitars on the stage, but when they go back to their studio, like Keith Urban, he plays a Maton and stuff like that. And when you go back to you see him in the studio where he plays a few of his songs, he uses a Martin, a very beat up Martin. And the question is why? Okay, because the bass response over time when he ages, again, something about the mystical statement that I can't explain at all, mystical charm that Martin has. It ages well, just like fine wine, just like us, great man. Okay. wondering how come this Martin sounds a little bit different, but because I fitted the fossilized mammoth ivory saddle on this, and previously, long time ago, all the golden era guitars, like the marquee line guitars, they use the fossilized mammoth ivory on the nut and the saddle. And if you were to play one long time ago, you will notice that the tone is a little bit more played in. It has more vintage-ish type of tone, and that's what the saddle gives you. A little bit more played in, a little bit more I wouldn't say old, but played in, clearer trebles, sweeter trebles, and a more balanced bass. Okay, I mean that's basically that. If you use unbleached bone, then you get a brighter tone, more transparent tone. Okay? Very responsive. Hope you are enjoying. Okay, in isolation, all of us are locked in our house with our family, with the people that sometimes we don't want to spend too much time with. I'm just being, I know some of you, I'm answering some what you guys are thinking. I know it's not very nice, but during this time, learn to reconnect with people that are closest to you. I know sometimes it's the people that are closest to us that say things that sometimes are the meanest. I mean, may not, because they are honest with us. I mean, our friends are our acquaintance sometimes, or our colleagues are just being nice, so they don't tell us the truth. You know what? And then it's just that the people that stay with us and under the same roof sometimes tells us the raw truth, and sometimes it's hard to swallow the real truth. Okay, it's like, you know, you think, what do you think about hairstyle? It looks ugly. You look ugly. That shirt looks ugly. You know, I mean, nobody likes to, but your colleagues and your friends, I mean, acquaintance won't say, hey, you look ugly today. You know, would they say that to you? I don't think so. So, but sometimes it's good to have real people around you to tell you the truth, so that you can make changes. So because, you know, that's why I said we need to face the truth. So all I can say is that, okay? your finger style. Wow, wow, wow. It tastes, not taste, it sounds, you know, sometimes sounds totally can be like taste, you know. I mean, it has different flavors, and I'm enjoying this guitar. It's very new, it's just a few days old. So, a few days old guitar that sounds like this, it's gonna be an exceptional guitar when it ages, okay? So it's like it has a lot of potential, because if you buy a guitar, especially a Martin, it sounds great on day one. Just imagine 365 days later, 10,000 days later, you know, which is a couple of years, 3 years, 20,000 years, 50,000 years. It's gonna be a cannon, okay? That's the beauty about Martin guitars. They age perfectly well. I mean, better than a lot of the modern guitars. I would mention them. And because some of the modern guitars, because of the finishing, they use this finishing is volatile, nitro finishes. It will just thin down. It will age a little bit. Whereas the other finishes that they use, polyester or polyurethane, it doesn't age that well. And they do age. The guitar does age, but it's very marginal. Okay, it's very marginal. But the Martins, when they age, it's almost like, hey, you play a new Martin D28 and a 3-year-old Martin, a 5-year-old Martin, a 10-year-old, a 20-year-old Martin. It sounds different. Just a case in point, there was one person that bought over a D35 that was bought and didn't really play it, and this guitar was, I think, was underneath in the closet or underneath the bed for about more than 15 years. And when I took one strum, because I'm supposed to set it up, I was really pleasantly surprised, because it sounded like, not like the new guitars or some of the guitars that came in that were like a couple of years old. And I immediately told the person that sent it to me that, please ask this owner if she wants to sell it to me. I'll pay her whatever price she wants. Obviously, the owner declined, because obviously there was some sentimental story behind that guitar, and but I got to play it, and it's a joy. So I'm just sharing some of the stories why you need to get the mountain. Pick the right one. You'll thank me, you know, in 20 years time you'll thank me.
Thank you.